Your brain would rather see you suffer in a way it understands than see you succeed in a way it cannot predict. Predictability is the ultimate biological currency, and to your ancient, survival-obsessed mind, a familiar misery is infinitely safer than a terrifyingly unknown joy. You aren't broken, you aren't weak-willed, and you certainly aren't self-sabotaging on purpose. You are simply operating on a neural operating system that values certainty over satisfaction. It sounds absurd until you realize that your brain is a world-class accountant that views every new behavior as a massive, risky investment it would rather not make. Today, we are stripping back the layers of the basal ganglia and the prefrontal cortex to understand the familiarity heuristic, the hidden neural mechanism that keeps you tethered to the very habits you claim to hate. You're going to see exactly why your brain interprets a toxic relationship or a soul-crushing routine as a win for survival, and we will decode the chemical relief your brain receives the moment you cave into a pattern you promised to break. Think about the last time you found yourself repeating a mistake you swore you were done with. Maybe it was that midnight doom scrolling, the way you shut down during an argument, or the specific way you procrastinate until the pressure becomes unbearable. In those moments, it feels like there is a stranger at the wheel of your mind. To understand why, we have to look at the work of Dr. B.F. Skinner from 1948. He discovered a phenomenon called adventitious reinforcement, where subjects, in his case pigeons, would repeat totally useless, even harmful actions because those actions happened to coincide with a sense of safety or a tiny reward in the past. Your brain does the exact same thing. It builds a map of the world based on what allowed you to survive yesterday. If you were stressed and you ate a box of cookies and you survived to see the next morning, your brain logs that as a successful survival strategy. It doesn't care that your blood sugar spiked or that you felt guilty later. All it knows is that the cookies equaled survival. Over time, these actions wear a groove into your neural landscape. Imagine a lush, green field where you have walked the same diagonal path 10,000 times. Even if that path leads to a swamp, your feet will naturally find that dirt trail because it is easier than hacking through the tall grass of a new direction. Your brain is essentially lazy by design. It uses 20% of your body's total energy despite being only 2% of its weight. To save energy, it automates everything it can, and it prefers the automated misery of a known path over the energy-intensive labor of building a new one. Have you ever noticed how much more exhausted you feel when you're trying to be good than when you're just being you? That is the biological tax of uncertainty. Now, let's go deeper into the dark heart of the machine, where the real revelation lies. Most people think they repeat bad habits because they are seeking pleasure. That is a lie. Your brain isn't seeking pleasure, it is seeking the cessation of tension. Dr. Nora Volkow, in her landmark studies around 2011, revolutionized our understanding of the dopamine system by showing that dopamine is about craving and pursuit, not the actual enjoyment of the thing. When you are stuck in a loop of misery, there is a physical tension that builds up in your nervous system. Your brain recognizes this tension as a problem that needs a solution. And what is the fastest, most reliable solution it knows? The old, miserable habit. The moment you decide to engage in the bad habit, your brain releases a flood of dopamine, not because the habit is good, but because the uncertainty of what to do has ended. The decision is made, the tension breaks, and your brain breathes a sigh of relief. You are literally addicted to the relief of stopping the internal argument with yourself. This is why you feel a strange sense of peace the second you decide to give up on your diet or call that person you shouldn't. It's the peace of total surrender to a known outcome. Your brain interprets this relief as a reward, even if the actual outcome makes your life worse. It's a glitch in the system. Your amygdala, the smoke detector of your brain, sees change as a predator in the bushes. When you try to do something healthy and new, your amygdala screams, "Danger, we don't know where this leads." But when you do the old, miserable thing, your amygdala stays quiet. It thinks, "Ah yes, this familiar pain, we know how to survive this." You are literally choosing the pain of the known over the threat of the unknown. Stop. Think about that for a second. Your brain views your growth as a threat to your survival. Once you realize this, the shame of self-sabotage starts to evaporate. You aren't a failure. You are a biological masterpiece of preservation that is simply overperforming its job. So, how do we hack a system that is literally designed to keep us stuck? We don't do it with willpower. Willpower is a finite resource, like a battery that drains every time you make a choice. Instead, we use the mechanics of the brain against itself. First, you must employ the friction audit. If the brain wants the path of least resistance, you must make your misery the path of most resistance. If you have a habit of checking your phone the moment you feel lonely, a habit that leaves you feeling empty, you don't just try to stop. You put the phone in a timed lockbox in another room. You make the old path so physically annoying to walk that your brain's natural laziness starts to work for you instead of against you. Make your bad habits expensive and your new habits cheap. Second, we use what psychologists call implementation intentions, a concept popularized by Peter Gollwitzer in 1999. Most people fail because they say, "I'm going to stop being miserable." That is too vague for the basal ganglia. You need a when-then protocol. When I feel the tension of boredom that usually leads to my bad habit, then I will immediately stand up and drink a full glass of water. This offloads the decision-making process from your tired prefrontal cortex to your automated habit system. You are essentially pre-programming the computer so it doesn't have to think when the pressure is high. Third, and perhaps most importantly, you must practice metacognitive labeling. The next time you feel the urge to repeat a miserable pattern, I want you to literally say out loud, "My amygdala is currently flagging uncertainty as a threat, and it is offering me this old habit as a false sense of safety." By labeling the process, you move the activity from the emotional, reactive parts of your brain to the logical, observing parts. You create a gap between the impulse and the action. In that gap, for just a few seconds, you are no longer the habit, you are the observer of the habit. Build intensity. You are not the dirt path, you are the person walking it, and you have the shovel. Take a breath and look back at your past week through this new lens. All those moments where you felt like you were failing, they weren't failures of character. They were moments where your biological urge for safety was winning the tug-of-war against your conscious desire for growth. Can you feel the shift in how you see yourself? You have been fighting against a system that was only trying to keep you alive. You can stop being angry at your brain for being a good survivalist. You now understand the hidden reward. You know that the relief you feel when you cave isn't pleasure, it's just the end of an internal war. And because you know that, the relief will never taste the same again. The illusion has been shattered. You aren't a victim of your own mind. You are the technician who finally found the manual. Every time you choose the uncomfortable new over the comfortable miserable, you are literally rewiring your nervous system to recognize that growth is not a predator. This is the work. It is slow, it is incremental, and it is the most important thing you will ever do. You are moving from a life of reactive survival to a life of conscious architecture. Your brain will fight you for a while, but eventually, the new path will become the dirt trail, and the old misery will grow over with grass until it's nothing but a faint memory of a map you no longer use. Go forth with this knowledge, apply the friction, set your protocols, and label the fear for what it is, just energy looking for a familiar place to land. You have decoded the loop. Now go break it. I am so glad you are on this journey with me. This is only the beginning of understanding the biological forces that make you, you. Subscribe to Habit Decoded if you are ready to stop fighting your nature and start mastering it. Next time, we are going to explore a hidden biological clock inside you that dictates your social status without you ever uttering a single word. Shh, you won't want to miss that revelation. Keep decoding.